We got another lovely video by Thrasher Magazine. I like when they do these kind of spot histories. I feel like kind of inspired by Dern Bros. But we got one from the J-Kwon spot in downtown LA. I've walked through here many times, but I've never actually went to one of the skate sessions. I believe it's only on Sundays. Maybe I should one time and just see. I always thought I would do a trick on the handrail. But let's learn about the history. I think it has a lot of history. Damn, I didn't know that was there.
There are probably very few, if not any other spots in the world where you can call out a trick that Ray Barbie did in public domain in 1988. And
True.
then just on the other corner, you could cite Casper Brooker doing a blunt slide to kickflip out in the most recent Baker video. Or Scott Johnson doing a front 180 switch crooks across the gap to ledge. J-Kwon, or as it was originally known, Beneficial, is one of these spots that has miraculously lasted and remained relevant for almost 40
I never
years.
seen that. That was sick.
So we're now on Wilshire Boulevard between Serrano and Oxford in front of a building that was originally built in 1967 as the headquarters for the Beneficial Life Insurance Company. And to give a sense of how close everything is in this stretch of Wilshire,
Steve, I used to skate there as a kid. Yo, let's go.
15. We're 2 blocks away from the handrails in front of St. Basil's and the rails across the street. We're 2 blocks away from the Pierce National Life Building, which was another building designed by Welton Beckett. That's that building with the red ground with the gray ledges that Jaron and Kareem skate. And this is part of this whole much larger corporatization of this part of Wilshire.
I like when you tell a story about a famous spot, you need the right bro to be doing the telling. And like this guy seems very knowledgeable, so it seems like the
Wilshire
good
had once
guy for it.
been a strip of elegant hotels and fancy apartment buildings, and the mansion where Sunset Boulevard was filmed, for example, that film noir movie, was actually on Wilshire Boulevard. That was torn down to make way for office towers like this. Unlike a lot of the other buildings that you see on Wilshire, however, Beneficial was actually set 315 feet back into the lot. And the reason why these 2 big granite plinths at either corner along Wilshire are here is for signage. Many of these buildings have like the Pierce National Life Company or Wilshire Park Place now on the top of the buildings. There were billboards, like, flashing signs. There was signs everywhere. So because this building was set so far back into the lot, you needed these plinths to display signage. And if you look at old videos, you can see the numerous different companies that have occupied this building as tenants, whether it was J-Kwon Orthodontics or First National Banks, or maybe even Beneficial Life Insurance. Signage matters if you're an automobile-oriented city, as Los Angeles is. The building itself is designed by the architectural firm Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. They also did the Alcoa building in San Francisco that faces Hubba Hideout.
Damn!
And for this job, they hired the head of the San Francisco office, a man named Edward Charles Bassett, and the head of the New York office, a man named
This is
Gordon
well researched.
Bunshaft,
This is sick.
to work together on the Beneficial Life Insurance building. Now, what's really interesting is you see components of other buildings that they have done in this building itself. So Bunshaft is probably best known for the Beinecke Rare Book Library at Yale University. And that building, if you're familiar, has these slanted pyramidal piers at each corner that function as like really steep quarter pipes. He also designed the Solo building on 50.
Yo, I'm impressed by bro here. Because normally when you make a voiceover video like this, you sit in a scenario like me. You sit here, you write all your stuff down, and then you read your thing. Bro is just out in the element, and he just got all these names, got all these dates, got all these facts, just in the element. That's really impressive.
He also designed the Solo building on 57th Street and the Grace building also in Manhattan. That Solo building is where Jake Johnson does the switch wall ride on that white travertine wall at the base of the building. Now, weirdly, Edward Bassett also designed the Tenneco building in Houston, Texas, which had not only a row of pink granite ledges on the outside, but underneath the overhang of the building, you had these pink granite quarter pipes that went up the wall. So in other words, the beneficial life insurance company ended up inadvertently hiring the two architects most responsible for natural quarter pipes on either side of the country to work together on this building in Los Angeles. Almost
crazy.
Everyone remembers Guy Mariano's frontside ollie on one of the little like pier-like columns and then board sliding the rail at the end of his Video Days part, or most recently, Jim Greco's mind-blowing backside 360 ollie.
Boom. That was sick.
So these steep pier-like quarter pipes lead the eye upward to this gridded matrix of a honeycomb-like row of windows that rises 11 stories up the front of the building. It's a steel-framed building with a shocked concrete
I really love that bro is just glazing the building and like we're barely talking about the skate spot, you know? Like barely. Like I think that's actually sick. I'm sure we'll get to it later, but I actually like this a lot.
That helps
rather
to
than just
support
focusing on the actual
internal
ledges.
core weight of the building.
Boom.
The plaza itself is this alternating pattern of pink, gray, and darker gray granite. But what's really interesting about this plaza is that now this is what most people think of when they think of J-Kwon. But at the time when this was still
my gosh.
most people
What?
think of when they think of
I don't
J-Kwon.
remember seeing that. Kalis did the front
At
foot?
the time when
What the hell?
this is what most people
I didn't think
of
Kalis
when
was
they
the kind
think
of guy to do
J-Kwon.
tricks like that.
But at the time
Wow.
when this was still beneficial, nobody skated this plaza. One of the reasons why those two plinths, the gap to ledges on either end, got so much love is because
What's up, Skate
that
Fantasy?
was where you could skate without getting busted. And
We're
in
learning.
the 90s, which is primarily when most people were skating this as a destination spot, you got to remember that people were skating picnic tables. People were skating higher and higher ledges, so that the appeal of this spot was really the gap to ledge. Gabriel Rodriguez probably had the first photo sequence doing a gap to lip slide in a 101 ad. And I was so blown away when I saw that footage of Gabriel Rodriguez's Sponsor Me video where he's doing double flips and half tap flips on the sidewalk in front of that ledge. He also front boards that ledge. Fabian Alomar, 50-50 front boards
slow
that
with the
rail.
50.
Ricky Iola, of all people.
Yeah.
You know, someone who we associate so closely with Philadelphia. Ricky Iola films half of his Z-roller part at this spot. So from the very beginning, what I think is so great about this spot is that it really is this East Coast-like plaza, and in a weird way, an East Coast-like building, partially designed
Yeah, this is
by Gordon
Thrash's spot
Bunchak,
history spinoff.
set within this like
But I'm
natural
impressed, honestly.
park-like setting that couldn't be anywhere else but Los Angeles.
I hope they shout out Dumb Bros. They definitely won't. They've had this series for a
When you
while,
think about
but I think Dumb Bros was
best
definitely
tricks that
first.
have been done here. You know, Gino Iannucci's like backtail, all of the tricks that the Menace team did, from like frontside crook, switch frontside tail. It is really a combination of East Coast skaters and West Coast skaters defining what you can do at this spot, and it's been like that from day one.
Boom.
It's amazing when you really think about it. As long as people have had video cameras, and as long as people have been filming skateboarding with those video cameras, there has been footage of people skateboarding at this spot. Either Duck or John, in Duck and John's part in Rubbish Heap, which is from like 1988, one of them ollies that gap. Gabriel Rodriguez switch frontside 180s that gap in the chocolate video. I love this clip of Henry Sanchez at night doing a switch flip to switch crook on the white painted ledge on the corner of Wilshire and Serrano. That's insane, especially for that time, 1994. And I love that era of like, you know, when Josh Kalis and Stevie, after Love Park had already been like bulldozed and demolished, they would come and skate here on Sundays. So there's
varial flip. Wait, was it switch varial flip 5-0?
Skating in
oh my
Urban
goodness.
Plaza, which is not something that we would normally associate
what the
with
hell?
Los Angeles happening here. And again, it's that idea of fusion, that idea of someone coming from somewhere else and bringing their background and what they like about skateboarding and applying it to a place like this.
Got my brain broken.
And when you consider how rapidly spots come and go, particularly historic spots where things have been done, it is a miracle that a spot like this that has literally been at the center of the spotlight in skateboarding for almost 40 years has somehow managed to endure. Part of that speaks to the quality of the materials used. Like, when are you ever not going to want to skate on perfect granite paving stones?
What is the purpose of these actual ledges that they skate? Not that one, but like the center ones.
Also, if you're a handrail skater, when are you ever not going to want to skate a perfect square metal 7-stair rail that just happens to be a perfect square metal 7-stair rail that Ray Barbie frontside board slid in 1988. I mean, this spot quite literally
barrel
has
flip 50. I always wanted to do double flip back 50 on this rail. I feel like no one actually ever did that. Maybe I should go contribute. Should I do that? I feel like it's attainable.
That a street skater would want to skate.
I just need like a stupid spotting. I hate landing onto the road.
From a gap to ledge to perfect flat ground to weird, wonky, harsh, serrated, gnarly quarter pipes leading up the front of the building to a whole row of square planter style ledges in dense granite. I mean, this is the perfect materials for skateboarding in one of the most unusually iconic settings along Wilshire Boulevard. And that's probably one of the reasons why this remains and probably will continue to be one of the destinations for any skateboarder visiting Los Angeles.
Damn, I didn't even know there was a double set there. This guy was on my rap tier list. He basically won the rap section. Well needs a Ricky pie. Yo, that was so impressive. Did they introduce Bro's name at the start?
Very few, if not.
That was really, really impressive. That was so good. Shout out to Thrash over this one. I thoroughly enjoyed that.